Good morning, Staff Sergeant Barnes, Staff Sergeant Weiler, class. My name is Specialist Wesley Hopkins from Echo Company 145th BSB. I'm here today to give you an informational briefing on training versus education. The resources we will be using today are dictionary.com, ADP 7-0, wikipedia.com for one reference, and Oxford Dictionary, my personal favorite. To remind you, this is an unclassified briefing. We do have some safety considerations. The risk assessment is low, but there are still potential hazards, such as fires. In cases of fires, make sure that all residents of your household have left. Call 911 and allow the fire department to come out and put out the fire. In cases of earthquakes, make sure to hide underneath sturdy furniture such as a table or in between door frames where it is structurally sound until the quake has stopped. Understand that earthquakes sometimes have post tremors, and you might have to look out for that continually through the day. In cases of power outage, it is winter in most places unless you're in Arizona, so make sure to have water on hand as well as blankets, because you never know how long you could be without power. Today we will be going over training benefits and talking about how that applies to leadership as well as educational benefits. After we've discussed those two, we will combine them to talk about how they work together. From there we will move on to the conclusion. In the conclusion, I will summarize everything and invite you to ask questions. I do ask that you hold all questions until that time. We'll first start with training benefits. In ADP 7-0, page 5, paragraph 1, it states that Army training standards are structured to be tough, realistic, standard-based, and performance-oriented. Ingrains skills into the soldier. These skills, such as repelling. Through constant effort and training, you develop muscle memory. Muscle memory is the groundwork for training. It is what is vital. It is quick-paced. Training is insurmountable. It is necessary in every aspect of our work. You have to have these skills in order to continue forward as being a leader. You cannot expect your soldiers to perform without being able to teach them yourself. How can I teach a soldier how to rappel down a line unless I myself know step by step? I have to know what to do in case of emergencies, how to respond. In order to do so, I have to have gone through an enormous amount of time and training to have that muscle memory and to have that knowledge. Along with that experience that you have to have, we see that it builds team unity. I put this photo up here of them going over that wall in for a reason. When you are building skill through training, you do it as a group. It builds camaraderie. You cannot have a functioning team that does not work together. By training together, you fight together. That's the Army motto, right? We train as we fight. We have to have that necessary training. We have to have that standard, just as we have to have that experience. Educational benefits. The benefits of education is that it is focused on information retention and absorption. Education is the why behind the operation. In order to understand the reason behind repelling, you have to understand the Army regulations. You have to understand the purpose of it. Typically, education is low in physical requirements. It does not enforce muscle memory. It instructs you and teaches you and helps you develop different ideas and ways to apply that information, but it does not teach you the skill. As we see here in the classroom, there's very little effort other than a mental application. This in itself does not create a good leader. You can have all the resources memorized. You can have all the information, but that does not mean your soldiers will be able to trust you, because you cannot perform without training. Which leads us into education and training combined. Used together creates dynamic leadership. We learn in ADP 7-0, Section 1, Paragraph 1. Training and education prepares soldiers to perform assigned tasks to standard. You cannot perform a task to standard without training. You have to have the muscle memory. Likewise, you must have that education, or else how will you know how to apply those skills and when to use them? Training and education also provides the skills and confidence that individuals need in order to perform duties and accomplish missions. ADP 7-0, Section 1, Paragraph 1. You cannot accomplish missions without both training and education. They are combined. In order to be an effective leader and to build trust and cohesion in your teams, you must seek to be adequately trained and continue to seek further training, as well as seek to pursue more education and understanding, so that when your soldiers ask you the question of why do I do it this way, you can give them an answer. In conclusion, training and education must be used in conjunction. There is no other answer. You must be able to give the why and support it with the training. Leaders and subordinates benefit from the combination of training and education. Knowing your training and having the knowledge through education allows you to apply it to your soldiers, teaching them those same skills and also allowing them to glean that information and knowledge from you. You are effectively training and educating your soldiers from the bottom up. You can teach them to be the future leaders. Are there any questions? Now that I've had an opportunity to answer your questions, this is the end of the briefing.